Days ahead of me.
Good morning.
What was coming.
It's 8 o'clock.
We just kind of
I'm going to call the meeting to order.
Hello, ladies. Yes, yes.
I'm going to call the meeting to order, and if you could stand, we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. And if we could have the roll call, please.
All right, Lorraine Benefield,
Here.
Neil Brennan,
Here.
Ken Jones,
Here.
Elaine Clyde,
Here.
April McLaughlin,
Here?
Edith Ramlow,
Here.
Shavonna Reed, Justin Strickland, Maria Lane Ebbets.
Here.
Okay, so I think what we should do now is the approval of the minutes from the last meeting. Did everyone read the minutes?
Yes. And I have a correction if I could. Oath of office.
Oh, that was,
Oh.
that's further down, isn't it?
No, it's right there.
Oath of office
Oh,
is
oath of
A2,
office.
sorry.
I'm sorry. We usually don't have that. I'm sorry. Thanks, Edith. Yes, okay, so that would be Adam.
Yes. All right, Maria Lane, if I could have you stand for the oath of office. So just got a brief statement that I'm going to read, and then you just agree and just say, I do, and then we'll have you sign your oath of office. Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of Florida, and that you will faithfully perform the duties of the position of Citrus County Special Library District Advisory Board Member according to the best of your skills and judgment?
I will.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yay. Thank you, and thank you for joining us, and I wasn't trying to cut you out. I was going to do it afterwards. I didn't look at the agenda close enough. So, welcome. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, I didn't kind of expect that.
Well, just who you are, where you live, and why you want to do this.
Okay, I've been in the county for 32 years and moved around everywhere because my husband is a retired Army infantry officer. We moved 18 times in his 28-year career and wasn't door to door. I mean, it was pretty far. But my interest in libraries started as a child when my mother got my first library card for me at, I don't know, maybe I was 10. And I walked about a mile, which, I mean, that's not a lot, but for a little kid, and back then it was a safe community. Children could do things on their own. So in the summertime, I lived at the library. Fast forward to marrying my second lieutenant. Everywhere we moved, after I got settled, the first thing I did was go to the post library, get my library card, and then, be able to get the books that I was interested in. I encouraged that also with my children. One of the first things I bought our eldest son was this sweet little book about rabbits. And Kurt retired, and we moved to Homosassa. And the first thing I did, again, after getting settled, get my library card at the Homosassa branch. So I've had a lifelong love affair with the library systems. And I thought maybe I could bring a little different perspective to the board. And that's why I put my application in. In the recent years, I was editor of the Greenville Gazette. If you live in Sugar Mill Woods, you know about that little newspaper. It's published by the Chronicle, and I was editor for 10 years. Wow. And I can thank that directly with Neil Brennan because she at the time was at the Chronicle, and she was needing an editor for that little newspaper. So she called, and I thought, I don't know about that. But it was one of the best 10 years of my life, Neil. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate that. And then I was called back after the next editor passed away, and I write 2 columns every month in the paper. Raised 2 sons, one of whom is also a retired Army officer, but from the Marine Corps. He's a pilot. He retired last July. I've been saying that I don't mind being the wife of a military retiree, but I sure as heck have not been able to grasp being the mother of a retiree. So, and the other son is in the liquor business, and he's quite happy and successful and the most patriotic guy you'd ever want to meet. That, I guess, sums it up.
Yeah.
I don't want to take too much time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're happy to have you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we'll take approval of the minutes. Did everybody get the minutes from the last meeting? Take a look at them. Any additions, corrections, or?
I just like a small correction here. If you'll read, this is gonna sound really, for some of y'all who haven't know the history of what we have dealt with an advisory board being an advisory board, and we have to be very, very careful that people know that we don't have a lot of teeth, we don't have a lot of power, and so we recommend, okay, and that's our main thing that we do. And we have to be careful that we don't have people thinking that we can actually do some of these things. The motion, as it was in our minutes, says to recommend library services to discontinue the membership dues for the American Library Association. Okay, we can't do that. What we need to do is change that verbiage. Okay, no, sorry. That's the way it should be. It wasn't said like that, okay? And if you'll go back, and I've got the video here, if anybody wants to look at it, what was said was, I'll make a motion to discontinue our membership dues to the ALA. That's what we can't do. So all we need to do is change this one thing here and take out that recommend library services to, and then our minutes will be in accord to what we can do. Does everybody understand that? And it may be confusing to some of y'all who have not been on board for some of that stuff. And it's just a slight thing. It will bite us in the future if we don't correct this now. We need our minutes to say exactly what happened.
Okay, so state exactly what you'd like the correction to say.
The correction needs to delete to recommend to library services, okay? Because that recommendation was not made. And it needs to say, motion by Elaine Cloud to discontinue the membership dues for the American Library Association, because that's what was said.
Okay, so you want to take out recommend.
Yes,
Is
that
that
was not
correct?
said. Should have been said, but it wasn't. Does that make sense?
Okay, so you want to have recommend stricken
Yes.
from, or corrected, I shouldn't say
Yes.
stricken,
So you-
corrected for the record.
How do you want to read?
Right.
We needed to read, the motion was to discontinue our membership dues to the ALA. That was the correct motion. And that's what our minutes need to say.
So the minutes need to say that she made the motion to discontinue,
Yes,
not to recommend.
exactly.
Okay, that makes sense to me.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that correction. So all we need to do, we don't need a motion to correct that. You just need to add it to the minutes of this meeting, add it as a correction to the previous minutes.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we'll approve the minutes with the correction. Does anyone?
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
okay. All in favor of approving the minutes with the correction?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we will approve the minutes from the last meeting. Okay, and now we have our exciting open to the public section. Anybody want to make a comment? You have 3 minutes.
Good morning,
Good
John
morning.
Good morning, John Labriola from Inverness, And I also wanted to welcome the new member, Marie Elaine Ebbets. It's nice to see a new face every once in a while on the board. And I like what you said. I like your comments about bringing a new perspective, because it's always important to have different perspectives on the board to really hash out a lot of these ideas. And I think we had a wonderful conversation here at the last meeting. Of course, it was kind of touched on just now by Neil Brennan, but your action at the last meeting, I wanted to specifically address that. And of course, the new member wasn't there, but of course she heard about it. And it was really an amazing moment when Citrus County decided to become a pioneer in what has now become a statewide campaign to defund the American Library Association for the reasons that were thoroughly outlined at the last meeting. And I wanted to give you an update on that. Citrus County, of course, was the leader in that statewide movement. And shortly after, Citrus County took the action to discontinue membership dues. You may have heard this, Hernando County, just a couple of weeks later, also voted to terminate their ALA membership. And then a couple of weeks after that, Collier County, down in the Naples area, also voted to discontinue their ALA membership. So it's been really amazing the fact, what one small board, and I kind of take a little bit of exception to what Neil Brennan said, because in fact, this board does have obviously a lot of power, as was demonstrated in the last meeting. And your recommendation was immediately accepted by the administration, by the county commission. They didn't even have to take a vote on it because they agreed to the fact that was removed from the budget. But I wanted to just briefly, I know a couple of you are missing, but as you know, I represent the Christian Family Coalition, and I wanted to take this opportunity to thank the members, and I know a couple of you are missing, who voted as you did at the last meeting. You were pioneers, and you did begin a ripple effect. So I brought some certificates, one for Elaine Clyde. It says, it's the Pioneer Award for being a pioneer in the statewide campaign to keep our libraries safe for children by defunding the ALA, and it's signed by our director, Anthony Verdugo of the Christian Family Coalition. So here's one for you. Thank you, Tom. And I have one for Edith Ramlow over here, and for Lorraine Benefield. Is it okay if I just drop this up? Okay. Yeah. Come on.
It's cute.
Edith. And I'm sorry that the other members aren't here, but I have certificates for them too. Perhaps at the next meeting I can bring them. But thank you again. You can take pride in the fact that you are a pioneer. You are pioneers in that effort. So God bless you. Thank you.
You too. God bless you, John.
Thank you. Anyone else have a comment?
No.
Okay, okay, come on down.
Marie Lane,
Yes, sir.
welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you on the board. Thank you for sharing that story with us, the story of your story. When I was in business, I offered discounts to all military and first responders, and I always reminded the wife, because oftentimes I would be sitting in their home with them, and the wife would say, "Well, he was in the military. He's a service member," and I would remind the missus that she's a service member too, because she was alone raising the kids a lot of the time while he was off. So thank you very much. Elaine, thank you so much for your motion. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make that meeting when the decision to separate from the Marxist ALA. I think we all understand that it is Marxist. That's not even questionable. We have some murmuring going on back there, but if the leader is Marxist and the leader was elected, then what does that say? And she's admittedly a Marxist. So I want to say thank you for, again, I don't know who voted for it, who voted against it, who was absent at that time. I think I know a few of the absentees. Thank you for everyone who voted to separate and get the ball rolling to for other counties and states to separate from the ALA, because maybe if enough people separate, it'll be kind of a wake-up call, and they might kind of clean up their act and stop going after the children with their LBGT products, which we know that when a child is convinced through a book to become an LBGT member, homosexual to say, and this is not my opinion, this is the truth. This is study after study by secular and even left-wing organizations prove that the chance of suicide is increased by 5 times. Okay, so these people to my right may not be concerned about children's increasing liability towards suicide, but I do, and I think that a lot of people here do on this board. I really, for the life of me, cannot understand why people are so hell-bent on the homosexual movement that they don't mind if the young children that learn this stuff from reading books that they find at the library, maybe they see it on a display, because oftentimes they are on the displays. And I mean, why do we want more teen suicide? Why?
Excuse me, your time is up.
Okay, also, very quickly.
Thank you.
Your
I
time
noticed
is
there's
up.
a lot of banned books.
Time's up.
The
Thank you.
The ALA.
April?
Okay.
What's his name? He didn't say his name.
Excuse me, what is your name for the record? Does anyone else have a comment? This is the open section. I will close this if there are no more comments. Okay, that section is closed. Special items. Adam, you have anything under special item?
Nope, I have just things for director's report for you.
Okay. So we'll move down to report from the officers and standing work groups. I'm going to delay that for now and ask Adam to, he had a comment about that, something that we're checking out.
Sure. So you want me to go on to director's report, or you want to go
Well,
to
I just wanted
that
you to
item?
comment about the fundraising part of it, the part that you're checking with legal.
Okay, sure. I'll kind of be brief about it with some of the things that we're working on with the library. We're undergoing renovation right now at the Lakes Region Library. I've just submitted a grant proposal for the Department of Economic Opportunity for renovation of the Coastal Region Library. I submitted a $475,000 grant through that, which will hopefully get approved. We'll know in January if we get those funds to help renovate the Coastal Region Library. But I was talking a little bit with April about this. The idea that one of our strategic plan goals this year, goal number 2, is talking a little bit about renovation and expansion of library services. We have a lot of growth in our community. I mean, it's everywhere, but we're seeing a lot of increase in use of our library services. So one of the things that this board has done very well over the year traditionally, pre-COVID, was doing fundraising every year for the library for large-scale capital improvement projects, which is part of the reason why we were able to begin renovation of the Lakes Region Library. So one thing I wanted to kind of start a discussion on was trying to see how we can get this board moving in that direction again to start fundraising. If we look at, we've got the Lakes Region Library pretty much taken care of. I think we'll be okay with the Coastal Region, but what's next? What's on the horizon to help us work on expanding our ability to meet the growth that's coming in the community? So what April was referring to is we've had our Love Your Library event every year for about 10 years pre-COVID. And it's just about kind of thinking about how we get back to that. So I'm new in this position in terms of how this board operates as far as fundraising. So I'm reaching out to different departments in our county and our county legal department to make sure that I understand how you all operate and what you're allowed to do in terms of fundraise and how those work groups for you kind of can exist. So that's one thing I'm looking at is with our legal department right now.
Right. So as soon as we get some clarification, what we're planning on doing is, if it runs the way it did prior to the COVID, we'll get together with the presidents of the 5 Friends groups and this board and the library and staff, and Taylor, of course, usually sort of spearheads the whole thing. And we'll get together and we'll have the breakouts with fundraising, the event itself, decoration. There's a million and two different moving parts to an event like that. But we'll see exactly what we want to do, and where it's not going to be as grandiose as it was before, but the smaller events. But we still want to make sure that what we're doing is correct. So as soon as we get some clarification, and we'll put that out, and we'll get some dates together for meetings, and we'll put that out to everybody. Okay, thanks, Adam. Let's see, regular business, and now that would be you, Adam, with your director's report.
Okay. Okay, so director's report. So I'm happy to report that library services continues to move in a very positive direction. I want to thank all of the Friends of Libraries groups, all 5 of them, for all of their work on the book sales, the one that we've just had, and then the upcoming book sale in Homosassa. Just, a thank you for all of their support in helping our libraries. And meeting with Maria Elaine, I realized that I haven't met with all of you individually. I've met with some of you. I've seen some of the branches, and we've discussed different things. But if any of you would like to meet with me and just discuss, anything or get more information on orientation, because I'm fairly new in this position. I know most of you have been on the board a little bit and met with Eric when he was director. But if you want to come meet with me, I do want to extend the invitation and give you a tour of the library. We can just go over some more of the Library Advisory Board functions and just kind of meet that way if you all would like. I know some of you, we've talked over the phone, you've called, but if you do want to come in and talk, please know that I'm always available. Quick staffing update. So our senior secretary, Jessica Weeks, she did resign. I have Renee here taking minutes today, but we are in the process of hiring a candidate to fill that position. So we have selected someone, and we're just waiting on a start date for that position. The position title has changed. It's going to be a new one for all of us. It's no longer senior secretary. It's going to be classed as administrative assistant 2. So it's an administrative assistant position now. It's an updated term, but the functions and the roles will stay primarily the same. I just wanted to give you that update that we do have a new incoming administrative assistant. At the last meeting, I talked about the budget being kind of still up in the air because it hadn't been finalized. There were some position changes that were sort of last minute. It was those custodial positions that I discussed. We had proposed 3 custodial positions instead of having an outside vendor come and clean our buildings. I'm happy to report that those 3 positions were approved. So they were approved at our final budget meeting. And we actually just held interviews yesterday for those positions. And we hired 2, possibly a 3rd candidate for those custodial positions. So we will have dedicated library staff that will be custodians for our buildings to keep up with all the different maintenance and things that we need within our kind of cleaning of our buildings. It's a big change for us, and it's one that I think will be a very positive thing. I do want to mention that at the November 28th Board of County Commissioners meeting, there will be an announcement about the Library Advisory Board positions that will be up for either reappointment or a new candidate to come into those positions. So that announcement is going to go out on the 28th board meeting, and it will have a deadline for applications on December 29th. So I do plan on having that at that board meeting. They'll make that announcement. And then the second meeting in January is hopefully when they'll make those decisions as to whether they reappoint or if they select new board members. But if any of you that are up for reappointment are interested in being appointed again, please know that those dates are there for you to submit your application if you'd like for reappointment. All right. A couple other things. Staff are just doing an amazing job overall, just engaging with the community. I'm hearing very, very positive things and experiences from patrons. Coastal Region Library is currently housing FEMA's Disaster Recovery Center for Hurricane Idalia. Lots of people are utilizing that service, coming in and receiving help. So it's a very unfortunate thing that Hurricane Idalia came through, but it's nice that we've got a recovery center where people can get that assistance that they need to kind of help rebuild and understand the process there. We just had Citizens Academy at the Homosassa branch last week. That went very well. We had a lot of engaged citizens that were looking to learn more about what our library service offers. We had professional development day where all of our staff got together and we talked about some different challenges that are upcoming in our community, whether it's mental health, fire safety, and different things like that to just remind us to keep on top of those things and where resources are that can help us. We had a representative from the sheriff's office come out and they talked to us a little bit about some of the things that they're seeing as far as their behavioral units and drugs and things like that. So we got quite a lot of good information. It was a nice day for all of the staff to get together and kind of work together on some things. And a couple more things real quick. In front of you all should have the statistics sheet. I just want to go over a couple statistics with you that I want to highlight for this year. So I mentioned libraries are doing very well, and we're seeing a lot of growth in a lot of really positive areas. One thing is we've issued 12% more library cards than we did last year. So we've seen a 12% increase in just people coming in and getting cards, or that's also in part by all the outreach our staff are doing. But we've got 12% increase there. 3% increase in visitors to libraries, so more people coming through our doors. And then also kind of correlates with, we've seen a 7% increase in circulation overall, and specifically digital circulation, so all of our ebooks and e-audiobooks, that's increased by 10%, so we're seeing that segment grow very quickly as well. Other thing I want to mention too is program attendance. We've held a lot of programs at the library. We're still kind of rebounding from COVID where people were still kind of shy to come out to different things, but we've seen a 16% growth in attendance in our library programs. So that's a very positive sign as well. And then very specifically, because I know that youth gets a lot of attention lately as far as what we're offering, we always want to try to make sure that we're helping with early literacy and connecting kids to reading and trying to get them to enjoy and kind of get that spark of that love of reading at a young age. So youth circulation this year from last year has increased by 21%. So we circulated 21% more youth materials this year than last. And I'm happy to report that the largest areas where that's grown are our picture books and our easy reader books, those beginning books like Spot and those Bob books where kids are just learning to read. So we're seeing a lot of kids picking up those early readers, families engaging with their children to get them, those early literacy skills. So I'm very, very happy to see those increases. And I mentioned to you all already the renovation at Lake, so I won't go into detail with that one. But that grant opportunity that came up, there's a lot of grant funding available for different economic opportunity, and libraries kind of fit into this particular grant because we do so much in terms of helping with workforce recovery. We help with just providing a free meeting space. We have internet access. So this grant was really about those kind of core pieces, and it fit very well with what we already do. So I'm hopeful that we'll see a positive result on that one for about $475,000 to help expedite that renovation and take some of that strain of where do we find that funding from. Because I know that with the Lakes Region renovation, we took $300,000 out of that U.S. Family Foundation account, and now it's a case of how do we build that back up for future projects. So those are my updates. Does anybody have any questions?
Nope, just a comment. I like all the increases. I think that's fantastic. You guys are doing a great
I have a
job.
question.
Sure.
Are you applying for that grant online? Or
Yes.
the federal grant?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. The application process was it was due, I believe, October 5th. So I've already applied for it. It's in the works. We'll know in January whether we receive the funding or not.
Adam talked about that when we took the money from the Family Foundation about, he explained to us that it was going to try to match the funds and that the county would also be funding some of it. So there's 3 sources there as well. It's that foundation, the county, and the library.
Is this state funding? No. Department of Economic Opportunity, is that state or federal?
Well, it's specific to the state of Florida, the funding.
Okay.
Great job. Thank you. Thank you all. And I just wanted to make a little kudos to the library. During the two emergencies that we had. The staff works at the emergency center for the phones and the other things that they do. And they did a great job. They got the libraries open really quickly after both of the crises. And they did a really great job in Citrus County. So we have a lot to be proud of the people that work there. They did a fantastic job. Okay. Thank you, Adam. Region managers, Renee and Debbie. Who's going first?
Since we have, Debbie was doing the the timekeeping, and I've got Renee doing minutes. I kind of shifted all of the reports to Taylor for today, so just be more concise.
Oh, okay,
Go,
then.
Taylor.
Here we
So
go.
Taylor has all of our updates.
I have all of the updates,
All right,
guys.
give it to us.
I thought you would be excited.
Oh,
All right,
we are.
so the first one, I'm going to tack on really quickly something to Adam's update from our professional development day. You may have seen and heard that we were able to acquire a new courier van for Janice to be able to use daily to move the books between the branches. And so we were thrilled to actually be able to reveal the wrapping that we added to the exterior of the van during our staff development day. So typically when we're doing new, fun, exciting projects, our Central Ridge staff and our admin staff see things first because stuff just gets delivered to our admin offices typically. But it timed perfectly, unplanned perfectly for us to be able to have all the staff together at Homosassa that day to reveal the van. So the pictures of the van it's very bright. It's teal and I told Janice it's a driving billboard, and I then apologized to her that she's driving around in a billboard for the library for the foreseeable future. But it literally says, "Follow me to the library." And so we're hoping that that will bring some new people a good visual that our libraries are out and about in the community and doing wonderful things. So that was what I had to add there. You will see in front of you, I left you guys both a brochure and a little reading tracker. So in addition to all of the work that our youth librarians had been doing over the summer to engage our school-age children, they are constantly working with our early literacy. And so as you know, weekly they do story times at all of our branches for both our 0 to 2, so our books and babies programming, and then our toddlers, which is our little learners class. So that's usually about our 3 to 5s. And then our Floral City branch hosts a joint story time for 0 to 5 called Tiny Tales. And so that is a weekly focus that they put on early literacy and getting families, so caregivers of any sort who bring their littles to the library to come in and get those kids engaged in reading. One initiative that we have seen other libraries doing for the last few years is a project called 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten. And so you'll see in front of you that we gave you the tracker that parents will be able to pick up for books 1 through 100. So we have little circles there that they can kind of color in once they read one of their books. And then we also are providing a little early literacy tip to the families, as well as some general FAQs about how to participate in the program. And so while 1,000 books before kindergarten sounds like a very daunting number, if you read just 1 book a day to your child, they'll hit that 1,000 books in 3 years. So it is very much a manageable goal for parents. And it's something that we are, as our youth librarian team, and our library system as a whole is working to kind of push forward to really re-engage those parents and other caregivers to help their child be excited about reading. One of the questions we've already received is, what happens if my child is obsessed with this one particular story and that's the only story they want to read? Well, if you read Chicka Chicka Boom Boom 5 times to them, it counts as 5 books being read, because that picture, seeing the words, seeing the pictures on the page, hearing that story, it's reading, and it is that recognition of the cadence and the just everything that comes with reading a book. So we are hopeful that we will see some good participation in our early literacy. Our youth librarians, we just launched this program last week. It went live on Friday. And so we are starting to do some different pushes throughout the week. All of our branch
staff have little welcome bags to give our families once they register. And so we have little chip clips that are magnets. And so they'll be able to they get one of those in their welcome bag, and they'll be able to hang their new tracker every time they hit 100 books on the fridge. There are stickers that they get once they hit every 100 book level. And then at 100, 250, 500, 750, and 1,000, they get a little prize and a little, just a little incentive to kind of keep them excited to be reading. And so our youth librarians painstakingly picked little activities. Finger puppets, they get 2, mainly. Okay, funny story. It was going to be 1, and then I stood there and I did this because I was like, a finger puppet, they have to talk to each other. So then we ordered enough so that they could get 2, so their finger puppets could have conversations. But, so there's those, there's little puzzle activities, Play-Doh, and a little cookie cutter for them to get some of those fine motor and large motor skills. And so it's really just a very all-encompassing program that we are working towards that hopefully will engage some of those families within our libraries and our community as a whole. So special thank you to the women of Sugar Mill Woods, the Tampa Bay Library Consortium, there we go. I found the right C word. Consortium, TBLC, for some funding for different things to help get this program up and running off to a good start. So anyone who knows families that have 0 to 5-year-olds, tell them to make sure they have their library card and get them registered on Beanstack, and they can participate in 1,000 books before kindergarten. So we're very excited about that one. As Adam had already mentioned, we've been doing a ton of outreach events. October is a very, very busy month. We know in our community there are a lot of fall festivals and different events specifically geared towards families that occur. And so we try to be at as many of them as possible without completely burning out myself and the rest of the staff. So this 2 weekends ago, on the 14th of October, we were at Scarecrow Festival in Crystal River, and we took out a story walk with us, and we made library cards, and we got to engage with some of our families. And also, because that was the day of the solar eclipse, some of our library staff brought their solar eclipse glasses that we handed out at the library for free with a library card. And we did science lessons in the middle of the closed road as people were able to come up to us, and we were sharing our solar eclipse glasses, and it was very, very impromptu science lessons. So we had a great time with that. We have also been working with our schools. And so we work with the different media specialists around the county to come in and participate in their literacy Title I nights. We've already been to a couple, including Central Ridge Elementary School and the Pace Center for Girls earlier already this year. And then we already have on our books Pleasant Grove Elementary, Homosassa Elementary, Lecanto Middle School, Crystal River Primary School just contacted us, and I think one more. They just keep coming. They get very excited when we go to one school, and then they all just crawl out of the woodwork and ask us to come for more things. So we love getting to be out in our schools and interacting with our families, and seeing a lot of those kids who do come to the libraries during the summer. They get excited to see that their youth librarian comes to the school where they are. And so it's just a fun, fun time. And then we will also be upcoming this weekend on Saturday night. We will be at the YMCA Trunk or Treat. So if you see us, we'll be in our 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish costumes. We're recycling those once again this year because, of course, we cannot be the library who shows up and doesn't have a book-based costume. So myself and 3 of our staff members will be there at that one Saturday night. And then the next weekend, we will be in Floral Park. We are working with our Parks and Recreation Department, who is working in partnership with Twisted Ink Initiative to put on the Walk of Arts Festival. And so we will be there. That is a huge arts initiative that is being pushed over on the Inverness side of our community. And so we will be over there as well with the story walk and making library cards and participating in that. Okay, that covered outreach. I only have one more thing, I promise, and then we're almost done. As we know, in November, we have Veterans Day, and our community has a large number of men and women who have served. And so we always try to do something to honor our veterans. And so once again, this year, we will be bringing back our salute to service displays. And so last year we launched those, and every branch had an area where you could come in and you could pick the, crest. What emblem? Okay, I was close. Emblem of your correct branch of service. I'm getting there, guys. I'm getting there. I promise. And so Army, Marines, Navy, Coast Guard, Air Force, Space Force. I said Marines, right? I said Marines. Okay, there's a lot of them. And so you can pick the crest, emblem, sorry, Debbie, of which branch your loved one or family member served in, add their name, and then those get displayed on our Salute to Service walls. And that will be up on November 1st and will stay up through November 27th. So we'll have some information about that going out in the paper in the coming week. And then we hope to see all of you add a friend or a family member's name to our Salute to Service walls. So I think that officially covers, Adam, do you have something else that I missed? Okay. I was like, you had that look on your face. Okay, that covers everything. Any questions?
No, I'd just like to say, apparently the outreach is working because there's an increase in library cards and everything else is increasing. So all the running and reaching
Yes.
that you're doing at the outreach seems to be working.
If you come by to see Adam, please just ignore all of the boxes that I have scattered around the office. They're everywhere. It makes Debbie a little twitchy. Sorry, Debbie.
Well, it seems to be working.
It's
The other
working.
thing is, and I like that you were thinking like a toddler and you got the finger puppets and everything. That was great.
Thank you.
This program works. My grandson just completed it. I was at the graduation in New Jersey, and the kids are just so excited. I mean, they just it like cements them to the library from then on out once they've done that. It's like really their first achievement. Their first big thing. And it's really exciting. So it's a really great program. And I really think that you're going to see how it turns out and how many people participated. Well, I was shocked how many people participated. And it's a small town where I live. So, that was a big deal. So that was great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was fabulous. There's a lot going on in our libraries. Okay, we got that done, and I don't believe there's any old business because we're waiting on some legal issues, which will also cover the new business. And let me go around and Edith, anything?
No, not right now. We don't have any college preview nights or anything going on tonight. And so, just
Keep
rolling
reading.
into the end of the semester and trying to keep the students from stressing out totally.
Oh, well, yeah, that's a good thing. Okay, Lorraine?
I just would like to thank Adam for applying for these grants, because I look forward I'm on the Friends Board of the Crystal River Library, and I look forward to the Crystal River Library getting updated. I'm kind of really glad we're not the first ones, because then any mistakes they make at the lakes that I'll benefit from. And so I'm very glad that you're attuned to that and found us a grant, and I hope it goes through and we have a beautiful library again.
Neil?
I just want to welcome, I know we have some people that are visiting us for the first time, and it is always a pleasure to have the public take part in this, and we're glad you're here, and we hope you come back.
Elaine?
Could you try Maria Lane?
Oh, I was going
That's
around this
Elaine.
way. Oh. You're sitting
You
next
might
to
have to
Elaine.
separate them.
I'm going to have to separate you two.
Gentlemen.
No, she starts there, it comes this way.
Yeah.
I think I just want to say thank you, John Labriola, for the certificate. I appreciate it.
Okay, Maria Elaine.
Thank you. This is at my first meeting. This is extremely educating me about the library system from another side than just the card holder. This is phenomenal, and I hate to say this, but it's like I'm an old lady because I'm having a great grandson arrive the end of February. guess who's the mom and dad gonna get this program? Because I gather you can do it from any state.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's phenomenal, and the rest of, and thank you very much for your words and information and thinking like a toddler.
Ken.
Yes, just remind everyone, Homosassa has its fall book sale Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of this week. Thursday, Friday, Saturday of this week at the Homosassa Library.
Lots of work there. And we just finished up the book sale, the Friends of the Citrus County Library System Focals book sale. It was a huge success. Those people worked tirelessly, and it was in a new location. So for the people on this board, if you have not been, next time it will be in March. They have the dates already. Go and take a look. If you want to volunteer, they're always looking for help. And it's a wonderful endeavor. And the money that they raise, it's a 501c3, goes directly back to the libraries. So for projects in their libraries, for materials, it's a great cause. And it's been going on for 20-something years, and it's a well-oiled machine. Those people just keep on working. So it's great. And I think that's all I have as well. Our next meeting will be December 12th, right here at the same time. And I want to thank everybody for their participation, the people that joined us, people on the board, and our new member. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So we are adjourned. Thank you.
We need a motion for that.
Oh, and do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
second. Okay, so we are adjourned. Thank you.